These are the latest images coming out of Russia, out of Moscow. There was a concert where 40 people have been shot dead and over 100 injured. It was a rock concert at a place called Crocus City in Moscow. We'll give you more images and more details as we get them.
And we're following another breaking story right now, this one out of Moscow, where Russia's foreign ministry says a, quote, bloody terrorist attack is taking place inside a multi-level concert hall, as I said. Photos showed the Crocus City Music Hall engulfed in flames, and Russia's prosecutor general says men dressed in camouflage broke into the building and started shooting. Let's get to NBC News foreign correspondent Matt Bradley, who is following developments from London. Matt, what do we know right now?
Yeah, well, what we're hearing from Moscow news reports, from Russian news reports, is that it was something between 2 to 5 gunmen who stormed into this crowded concert hall. Not only did they shoot up the place and kill as now many as more than a dozen, possibly 14, though that number is probably going to be going up, they also detonated explosives and, as you can see in some of these images, started a huge fire. Now, this caused a lot of authorities to evacuate hundreds of people, and so far we don't know who did it and who has claimed responsibility or the fate of the perpetrators. We've been hearing from John Kirby from the White House saying that there is no evidence so far that Ukraine had anything to do with this, but the Russians are now asking for the entire world to condemn these attacks. Now, there is, as we heard from the White House just now, there has been a lot of division within Russia. This is something that we're seeing on the political level. There were recent elections that were widely slammed as being essentially fraudulent. And so this has, opened up a lot of ruptures within Russian society that were already quite sensitive because of the ongoing war in Ukraine. So as authorities go about the business of trying to figure out who did this attack, a lot of speculation is almost certainly going to be falling on the Ukrainians. At the same time, this is going to raise a lot of memories of what happened back in Moscow back in 2002 when there was an attack, a hostage situation involving a lot of children on a theater in Moscow. That was perpetrated by the Chechen terrorists at the time, and that was a very, very bloody massacre. So again, we're going to be seeing tensions from all over the world coming back on Moscow. And this is something that is certainly going to be appearing in a lot of the domestic political discussion there as time goes on, and we're starting to hear more and more people discussing the war.
Matt, in trying to figure out what this concert hall is, it looks like it's a venue kind of like the Met here in New York City or Carnegie Hall. It's a proper concert hall with a stage and tiered seating. From video that appears to be posted from the actual incident that you can see on Russian social media, it's pretty scary. And there are a lot of folks inside, a lot of folks that appear to be trapped. Do we know if authorities have been able to catch the gunman? Is the shooting still ongoing?
That's something I'm going to have to get back to you on because I don't actually know, and I think it is still somewhat ongoing. That's something this is really just happened, so we're still getting a lot of details. But we're already hearing statements from public officials asking for sympathy from the rest of the world. So this is something that, when you talk about whether or not it's ongoing, certainly the police operation trying to figure out who perpetrated this attack is only just beginning, and that could be quite an invasive
Микроавтобусом, да? Нарушители.